morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Luigi van Geest. I'm responsible for the international expansion of Roundcube. Now, Roundcube has several and a variety of products out there for the property and casualty insurance market. Most of them are for the private lines, but today we are announcing and launching our newest product for the commercial lines, which is Roundcube Profiler. I think we can all agree that making money in the private lines is actually quite challenging. The margins are quite low, and so is the customer loyalty. I think it's fair to say that we try to give the end customer the ultimate customer experience, hoping that they will stay with us and buy more products from us. Now, if you look at the commercial lines, there's actually still some money to be made, some good money to be made, only where you do it right. Some people still believe that the end customer is waiting for a policy that's handwritten with a goose feather, but I think those times are over. In fact, the principles that apply to the private lines also apply to the commercial lines. And with that thought, we created Profiler, which enables the interaction between insurer, broker, and the end customer, being a corporate or an SME, in a fast, efficient, and hopefully in a customer-friendly way. So traditionally, if you look at the process of making a risk assessment and getting a quote from an insurer, at best it's 2 weeks, and that's considered to be very fast. But most likely it's 2 months, and it's not even an exception. Now that's, of course, with the way that we look at the world right now, that's unacceptable. So again, that's what we created Roundcube for. So instead of filling in a 66 pages general application document, if you're a baker, a butcher, or an international logistics company, you simply log in to the portal that is powered by Profiler. This can be done by the customer, or actually by the advisor of the insurer or the broker. Then a dynamic questionnaire is being fired off, only with those questions which are relevant to determine the risk of this specific corporate and its business. Now, after that has been done, the system returns a risk score, which is benchmarked against a huge database of previous assessments, indeed with using the database of Marsh Risk Consulting. The result is also presented in a risk report, which then can be used to file a quote. So the first step is that the business of the customer is identified by filing in his Chamber of Commerce number. With the use of external services, we try to retrieve so much information as possible from existing information vendors. In this case, we see that the company is into wood trading. I have to fill in the annual turnover and some basic questions, as you do right here. Now, the system will return to me an overview of typical coverages for businesses that are similar to the ones that we have just entered. On top, you see the most relevant coverages, in this case, commercial property, and on the bottom, the least necessary coverage like glass. Now, this gives the advisor also a way to structure his conversation with the end customer. We now go into the actual questionnaire. On the left-hand side, you see the main categories. And on the right-hand side is the dynamic questionnaire. The dynamic questionnaire will, as I said, only pop up with the questions that are relevant for the risks. And since it's intelligent, it will unfold questions regarding to the previous ones. Now, this process would typically take 20 to 30 minutes. I don't have the time today. So what we've done, we already pre-filled, as you can see, a questionnaire. And we'll now go to the last page. Submit it, and the system will now return with a summary and a risk score. And what you see over here is that the risk score that this customer has on property damage is 57%, while the average, and this is these are the results from this global database from Marsh Risk Consulting, is 64. So this is a less attractive risk to insure. As a result, this will also come back in the risk report. Again, this can be handed over to the end customer, used by the broker. Well, very clearly, it's not a good risk to insure. However, what I very much like about what the system also does, it gives how do you call it? It also gives you an advice on what measures to take in order to reduce the risk. So this helps in the conversation of the end customer. Now, this information can be then handed over to, from a broker perspective, to any insurer, but it can also be used electronically to ask for quotation. And that's what we're doing right now. It's actually quite simple. So, in summary, which is another cue. Nobody's listening. In summary, what you've seen is actually quite a fast process and very efficient. Well, especially the way that I've been doing it, by skipping a few steps. But in general, it's a fast process. And this saves cost, and therefore it's taking cost out of the value chain. The benchmark immediately shows what's good and bad risk, which has a good impact on your combined ratio. Sorry. And then, of course, the risk report can make the broker advisor look even more professional. So, and in the end, for the customer, it's also a better experience than waiting for a policy after so many weeks. I think that's in summary, I think that's my summary for now. I think this is all the reasons for you to come by at our stand in the main hall. And yeah, I hope to see you there. Thank you so much for your attention.